What's up, y'all, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. Let's address the elephant in the room. What in the world is Worldly Church Girl? Worldly Church Girl Live is just like the podcast. Uncut, raw, unfiltered conversations with kingdom-minded people who are sharing their life stories, how they overcame for God's glory. So sit back and relax and enjoy Worldly Church Girl Live. What's up, y'all, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. It is Tuesday. I got the day right because I know last week I said it was almost Friday and it was Tuesday. It is Tuesday. We have made it not quite to the halfway mark, but kind of in the halfway mark. So I'm glad to have you all here, and we are excited about today's show. Today's show is going to be a good one, y'all. It's going to be a, no pun intended, a juicy one. You'll find out why I said that and why I'm laughing. I'm so messy. No, I'm just kidding, but anyway. I have a wonderful guest today, y'all. She is a wonderful, wonderful lady, and when I saw her profile, as I always like to say on her, I got to trolling her pages, and I was like, okay. Then I went to her Instagram. I was like, all right. Then I went to her website. I was like, okay. And I was like, I like her. I was like, we here. So I'm digging this lady. So I was very excited when I asked her if she would be on the show. She agreed. So it gives me such an honor and a privilege to bring to the stage for you clubhousers and to the floor, Miss Miracle Sims. Hey, lady.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's just very interesting being on the other end. So I'm over here just watching the show too, like, oh, this is good.
Now, quick disclosure, because we're going to flip the script, because I will not be doing my show Friday because I have an open slot. And so I will be doing it Friday on your end. So I will be in the hot seat. So I was telling my husband, I was like, ooh, this is nerve-wracking. I've never been on the other end of getting the questions. No, well, I have once.
Okay.
And it was was it last year? I think it was last year. So, and my nerves was so shot. So So I'm out of practice. So I'm gonna be like you. It's a weird feeling to get questions thrown at you when you're used to throwing the questions at somebody else. But you all right. You got it. You got it, because it's about you. And look, as I tell you this, knowing I'm gonna be the person Friday doing this.
No, you know.
I mean, you don't you? Probably not. I don't know me.
We're figuring ourselves out every day.
Ain't that it? We so complex.
That is the truth.
But like I was saying, I love everything you're doing, and you are opening the eyes and the ears to uncharted territory, if you will, in the secular and church world. And I'm adding secular to it because I know the secular world is curious, because when they see your title, we're not going to go there yet. We're going to go there later. I want to hold the suspense.
Okay.
But I want to go, I know, right? So we're going to start in the beginning of your life. So you grew up in the church, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I grew up in the church. My mother is an evangelist.
Oh, you're a PK.
Yes, ma'am. I as well say. Yes, ma'am. We wore dresses all the time. You know, weren't allowed to wear pants. That's how I grew up.
I remember those days. My mother was a Sunday school teacher. Then she became a missionary, and then a mother. And then my daddy was a deacon over the finance committee of all things.
Okay.
So Yeah, I didn't get a chance to wear dresses until third grade, and that was because I mean pants until I was in the third grade, and that's because I was in the playground, and the teacher pulled my mother to the side. I was like, she can't keep wearing skirts to school because she's doing cartwheels and on the monkey bars and showing her business. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. So, what was your childhood like? Besides living in the strict church home, what was it like?
It was. I come from a small town. Funny thing is, my hometown is named Butts County, Georgia. Jackson, Butts County, Georgia. Um, yeah, small town on the way to Macon. Many people don't know us, and if they do know us, it's a jail or
Mm-hmm.
down there. Um, yeah, so it's a bad case. But I mean, it's growing. It's getting a little more active. More things are getting built down there and everything like that. But yeah, that was my upbringing in a small town, Jackson, Georgia. Not to say I always felt like an eyeball, but kind of always felt like I was gonna get out. you know,
You was
um,
ready to run.
yeah, I felt like I was going to be the prodigal daughter. That's like I
Mm-hmm.
felt when I read that Bible story. Like, oh, that sounds like when I want to leave. I might come back, but I'm going to be one of them. And that pretty much is the truth. I did leave as soon as I graduated in '04 for college and everything like that. Lived on campus and all that. And then after that, I moved to Florida and was down there for about 5 years on my own and everything like that. And there was a time I had to come on back home, but that still was like for a split second. And I moved again, moved up to the Atlanta area and everything like that. But in regards to growing up in church and everything like that, again, it was instilled at me and at that young age. It wasn't anything weird or anything like that. Because again, my mother visited a lot of different types of churches and things like that. Um, and yeah, I mean, eventually, she married my stepfather, and so that became our church home, and we would go there. And that would be like the main church home throughout the rest of my like childhood and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know. Wait, what in particular you want to know about the childhood? Because we can go there now because there's some stuff.
We can go there.
What you want to know? The beginning stages of the show, or we still be in this suspense? We leaving them in suspense.
We getting there. Okay, so after you graduated from high school and all that, and you went to college, you got
Yeah.
an associate's degree in theater.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Now, so what drew you to the love of theater?
Well, I go back to mom, right? So here's the thing. She okay, so back in the day, you know how everyone would say, Happy Easter, everybody, they
Mm-hmm.
no, not me. I would have poems. I
Oh.
needed to recite and things like that. So it
Mm.
kind of started there, learning all of that to, I was the narrator in her shows that she would write or, um, you know, yeah, it just kind of grew from that. And I don't think I realized that it was something that I could do as a career until maybe I got into sixth grade, and then that's when I kind of um, decided that I was like, okay, I think I want to do this acting thing. And then the interesting thing was in the sixth grade, that's like the beginnings of middle school. It wasn't a class that they would let the sixth graders go to. I had to wait till eighth grade to do it.
Right.
So then I get in the eighth grade. I finally got a chance to do some drama and things in there, outside of the church and my mom's shows and stuff like that. So that was kind of like my first time doing things outside of that stuff. But then I was excited to get into it in high school. But once again, it was that upper class and privilege. So I had to
Mm.
wait, find other ways to kind of hone my skills and things like that. So I would go to, ended up going to like a theater summer camp a couple of years. Like I want to say my ninth grade year I went, and then I went again in my 10th grade year. Finally, in 11th and 12th grade, those were the times I'm supposed to do it. However, wouldn't you know that the person that was doing the theater program decided to not do it? And so these are the things that happens in small
Wow.
stuff. And so, I did get a chance to do a little bit in high school because there was a new course teacher that came, and so she started to do like musical theater and stuff like that. So I got a chance to do a little bit of that. And then, but yeah, just had to find just ways to those skills until I finally went to college. And so that was one of those things where, um, not to say it was a huge debate, but it was one of those things where it was like, what are you going to go to school and do? And when I say theater, it would be this whole like, oh, well, you shouldn't go for that or you should go for this or whatever the case was. But the way I looked at life or what I wanted to do, I just was like, okay, this is going to make sense for me to go and do what I don't want to do. I might as well go for what I really want to go for. So yeah, I went to college, went to theater. Um, I went to Gordon College, which was only a 2-year college at that time. So I went straight through my 2 years right after high school. So I kind of got in early with college. It's just, you know, if you go straight through summer, then,
Mm-hmm.
go early with classes and whatnot. And so after that, I ended up getting a job down at Walt Disney World. Worked down there for about 5 years, and yeah, and then came back and opened my own. Well, then it was a party business, but now it's become like a entertainment theater type of. I do dinner shows and all kinds of things like that. So that's just
Mm-hmm.
about like the acting side. I mean, I've done a lot of different things, plays, films, short films, web series. Like I've done a lot of different things, but yeah, in a nutshell, I was said I was going to do that in 6th grade, and I'm doing it.
Now, like you said, you've done like a lot of different plays, like all across the country and stuff. Now, how did you prepare for your roles?
Well, it depends because a lot of times, okay, what we talking about? Like, what role we talking about? Because
And well, I mean, I mean, how did you be like, okay? I mean, how does one just prepare for a role? Like, what? I mean, I don't know the process of being an actress. I don't know. So, how does one prepare?
um, well, I mean, I guess with going to school for theater and getting that, I guess, education of it, that was my prep in regards to what professional and well also being trained in theater too. That's the thing.
Mm,
So obviously, since I was a child, I was always speaking in front of people. So I think that was one of those things that kind of helped me when it comes to theater, because it's the same type of contrast to at least the speaking part, because that's kind of half the battle sometimes.
mm,
Um, then after that, it's like getting into whatever the role is. For example, like any play or something like that. For me, the way I do it is I really reflect on, okay, what is this character? What are they doing? What are they portraying? What are they saying? And I give my all in those moments, and then I'm able to kind of let them go when those moments. Now that's just my way of doing it. I know there's a lot of different
mm.
actors out there and they do it different ways. Some people have to stay in their characters for weeks at a time or and stuff like I'm not one of those actors.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you hear those stories like somebody just like living in their character, like going home still in their character. I'm like, what?
yeah,
What?
that that's a little too deep for me because I like knowing who I am versus my characters, and so that's why I give my all in those moments. I do, whether it be a stage play or a film, whatever the case is. I give my all in those moments. I become that for that moment, and then I let it go because. For example, one of the most recent roles is probably the most risque roles I've ever done, and I don't know if we're going to talk about that. But anyway,
Mm,
that role, she was very depressed, right? And I'm not depressed, so I'm not going to hold
mm-hmm,
on to depression beyond the role. Because yeah, when I would play it, I would feel that cloud over my head. I would feel everything that this character was feeling, and kudos to people that want to stay in that, and that's their process, but that's not my process. So I
yeah,
do it. I stay in it. I portray the characters to the best of my ability. So hopefully that people don't see me, they see the character, and then I let it go. That's what I
right. I don't blame you. I would have to let it go too. That's too much. I got enough of me to hold on to, the me and somebody else.
come on. You never worry
Now,
about
okay. Now let's get to the meat.
it.
Now, like you, I have a very controversial title for my podcast and my show.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to tell everybody the name of your podcast and your show and tell us about it.
Well, my show is called God, Sex, and Love.
All right.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let me go back to Florida days, Miracle, because that's
Hmm.
I was single. That's when I was like, I guess this is kind of the beginning of GSL, in my opinion. So single Miracle, she always would have four things on her mind: God, sex, love, and career. Right?
Hmm.
As
Okay.
a single woman, it's what am I supposed to do when I'm always thinking about? Okay, if I'm always thinking about sex. But as a Christian woman, I'm also thinking about God. I'm knowing that, okay, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, and everything like that. It's like, what am I supposed to do with these feelings? And so eventually I kind of went on, go on YouTube and things like that around that time. And I saw different shows out of Christian people having conversations and, talking and everything like that. But I felt like they only went so far. They only was just, I just felt like I couldn't necessarily relate because I'm like, well, are you going to talk about the other stuff? Because I'm over here trying to figure out what this is,
Right.
you know?
Right. 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 Get to the
So,
dirt. Yeah.
yeah, I would feel like I'm alone out here. I'm like, am I the only one that's out here? Like, I'm the only
Hmm.
single Christian horny woman right now. Like, else in my shoes. Does anybody relate to this? And so, at some point, I decided to kind of just documenting that,
Hmm.
just my thoughts alone. So I started to do this, if I would call it like a little series. It's still up on my YouTube. I call it the Hopeful America. Just around that time, I'm like, I'm single, I'm hopeful, I believe that this man is out here. I don't know who he is, but he's out
Hmm.
here. Can't wait, Lord, all that stuff. And so I just kind of had conversations with my camera, and I guess all of YouTube, just about like the things that was on my mind. One of the first videos I did in that playlist was saying, hey, I think about God's sake, love. I think about God's sake and career. I think that's what I said in the video. Then I had
Hmm.
to come back in the second episode and kind of fix it a little bit. So I was like, okay, listen, when I said sex, I'm talking about the whole situation. I'm talking about the romance, the relationship,
Right.
the whole
Right. The whole
feeling.
package.
I'm thinking
Right.
about that too. you
Right.
know. And so yeah, that I would say is the beginning stage of GSL. That was the beginning stage because I was looking for, something to relate to. I was looking for Christians to be open and honest because then it was either I was watching Christian shows go so far, or I would see people say secular shows, and then they wouldn't really let the Christians talk, or they wouldn't, they kind of shut the Christian person down, and then you're like, well, I want to know their opinion. And
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, GSL is just a place where I say it's a place for Christians to be just open and honest about whatever it is, and we talk about God, sex, love, and everything in between. So we talk about everything.
Hmm.
I guess God, sex, and love just kind of puts it out there, like, yeah, we're going to talk about these things and everything. So
Right. Because you have a whole panel that's with you too.
yes, so every now and then we have panel discussions, and then
Mm.
sometimes we'll have the men, and I call that like male perspective, and it'll just be me and all these men, and I'm just kind of listening like a fly on the wall. At the barbershop, they talking, and I'm asking a question here and there, and we're like, okay, I'm listening.
Right.
Segments like that. Then I have girl chats where it's all women and we're just chatting, and yeah, the co-ed and everything like that. So yeah, there's panel discussions, and then but lately I've been doing a lot of one-on-ones, and that's been very interesting, getting to know just people from everywhere, man. I really do thank God for just taking out the time to just do it because this is something that was on my heart and mind for years. And I kind of did little things to work towards it, right? I was like, okay, I got the logo done one year. I got set up the Facebook page. So it was crazy when 2020 hit and the idea of the podcast came up again because it came around two times. My husband said
Mm.
time in 2019, and I just was like, man, I just told you I'm gonna make it a blog, and you just telling me to think that you trying to add on work, like you know, like why you always do this to me?
Hmm.
I mean, lo and behold, 2020 rolled around, and then I found myself, I couldn't do my show like I used to do. I used to do my dinner shows and things like that. I found myself
Hmm.
near my son, and I'm just like, the idea about the podcast came up again, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, what would I talk about? What would I do? I was like, I can make a GSL, and I'm like, well, because he challenged me again. He's like, you need to post every day. So I was like, what would I talk about? And so that's what kind of daily inspiration segment. So I kind of do that. So now the podcast, it has become pretty much the juice and the daily inspiration. And then the talk show version, which I do every Friday, that's kind of like the conversation, the me and other people talking in some aspect, whether it's one on one or panel or whatever the case is. So that's kind of like a little nutshell of what's going on.
Now, when people first heard the name, now
Mhm.
how many eyebrows did you get raised at you, and and how did you handle it?
Um,
Did you get any inboxes and whatnot, like
no,
questions?
no, like so when I went live with when I finally put it out there and let everybody know that I got the thing, got such a love. I didn't get any inboxes or anything about the name. Honestly, I didn't necessarily think anything of the name until the first time I thought something of it was when my niece was like, "Oh, I'm gonna send you a video, Auntie Miracle," and she sent me this video. And she's like, "Oh, I hope you have a great show for your God, sex and love," and I was like, oh, "This is kind of weird." Like she's like 7 or 8. She's like, "God, sex and love." And I'm like, it does sound a little weird coming out of your mouth. And
Like,
then,
oh baby, just don't say my name. Just say have a good show. That's
yeah,
it.
have a good show,
Mm-hmm.
sale, So it did. That's the first time I felt weird about it. And then
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the second time, I want to say recently, somebody was saying that they saw one of my shirts or they saw like some merch or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, I was trying to figure out where would I wear a dress that says that on there." And I just was like, "Oh, you can wear it anywhere." But then I was like, "Oh, well, I guess it is kind of weird to have like gossip and love like right there."
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like I said on the podcast when I first started it, and I made a little promo clip. I just was like, God, sex, love. It's words that you wouldn't really hear together, but at the same time, well, they say God is love, and then also sex, and so it's like, why is it so taboo? Why is it so weird? It shouldn't be, um, in my opinion. So,
It shouldn't be.
you know,
It shouldn't be, but for whatever reason,
mm-hmm.
it's a taboo subject.
Girl,
You
and I,
know, it's like in the world, God is taboo, and in the church, sex is taboo. It's like, good, why?
and the crazy thing is, and that's the thing I say it all the time. It's like the more that we as Christians don't tackle these subjects of sex and the world
Mm-hmm.
is, no wonder people confused, right? No wonder kids growing up and, it's like we need to have these real conversations too. Like at the end of the day, if all they hear is the secular side, then
Mm-hmm.
and then all they hear on our side is don't do it. I mean, well, yeah, I agree. Like, and as somebody that, I guess read the Bible and now that I'm married and all these things, it's like I totally see the reasonings behind what the Bible says in a different way, right? Because it's like, even though it was hard when I was single, I was like, Lord, listen now, because I'm over here, and stuff.
In my feelings, right?
I'm supposed to
Yeah,
do without these feelings.
right,
Um,
right.
on the flip side, it's like I understand it, and I would definitely let anybody that still has their virginity. I would definitely be like, hey, if you can hold on, hold on. Like, you don't want to open no doors to all the other things that come with that action.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a whole nother can of worms, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I just feel like we should have these open and honest conversations too. And I feel like that's probably one of the main things that GSL has done thus far. I feel like we've been very transparent. A lot of my guests have been transparent about things that they've gone through and are currently going through. And I hope that what other people get is, well, those that need to hear what people are saying, I hope they receive that. But then I also hope that it sparks other conversations as well amongst people, other people. Like maybe other people will be a little bit more free with having a conversation with sex because, again, the more we don't, the more the world is. And then if you want your kids to know what the Bible say about it, then we need to have those real conversations. If
Mm-hmm.
not, they
And
don't say about it. And
right. And I love the fact that you have a lot of married couples on there too that are open about
mm,
what's going on in their life and in their bedroom. I mean, which makes it more realistic they're not sugarcoating it at all. They're just like giving it to you raw and uncut. I appreciate that.
Yes, me too. Me too. I appreciate them, being open and honest and sharing because that, sometimes people can get embarrassed about like, the things that are going on in their relationships and or whatever. But um, I feel like we go through things to help us at the end of the day. Like I feel like the things
Mm-hmm.
I went through in my life, I'm able to talk about them now, and hopefully it resonates and helps the people that listen to either the podcast or the show or whatever. Um, I've been very transparent about like the things that did happen in my childhood that I feel like led me to be this morning woman.
Mm-hmm.
I've been asked about those things. Same like I feel like I talk about it all the time. So sorry, honey, love you. But obviously, I'm the one that's like always wanting it, and he's the one that's like, oh, I'm sorry, I've been working on it. I'm like, ah! There's a disconnect somehow, and I'm like, why did you? Why? Come on. But
Mm-hmm.
what I've noticed is, and I don't know if this is the reason why I'm going through some of the things, but the more that I um going through things, I draw near to God. Like I feel like I draw near to God, and I'm asking those questions, and then all this content that
Mm-hmm.
I'm for other people and myself sometimes too. So and the things I learned, I just kind of share through these platforms now. So it's an ongoing thing. Life is. But yeah, we try to be open, honest, and transparent on God.
Right. One thing Maria said, she said that she learned how to stop praying, God change him, change him, change him. She started saying, Lord change me. And I was like, that right. I've learned how to do that because
Mm-hmm.
in I used to do that in the past, like, Lord, you need to fix him. Him broke. That was
Right.
my thing in the past. And I'm gonna make that disclosure very clear
Mm-hmm.
in the past, years ago. But now I was a long time ago. But
Yes.
now I'm like, Lord, you fix it's me. I'm the one that got an issue. So you need to work on me. What's going on with me? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
was glad to see somebody else say that.
yes. Yes. No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's all we can do at the end of the day, and that's one of the things that I've had to kind of keep in my mind too. Is like I can't change. Like as much as I would want my husband to do this and do that, right? At the end of the day, I can't change him. He got to make whatever decisions for himself. So what can I do in the situation? I can change the way I look at it. I can change the way I think about it. I can ask God
Mm,
to help me with the issues that I have, and
right.
and I can pray for him and things too. But in regards to I guess praying for change and others, I mean, they have to want the change.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's one of those things.
Here you go.
Yes, indeed.
What do you do? Now, we're gonna move a little forward. You
Okay.
also have a book, which is why I said the juice.
Yeah. Yes. So, well, I'm sure you all see this lovely.
Now, just hovering in the background.
Oh yes, I do have this. It's actually a journal. It's
Mm-hmm.
a 30-day Bible study journal, and this journal was created inspired by the daily segment that I mentioned called the Truth. So, long story short, y'all. Again, when I started the podcast last year, again, my husband challenged me, we do something every day, and I was like, what can I do every day? And I want to say, I guess technically what came up to my mind around that time was that, I've been having saying to myself, man, I need to Bible study. I need to take time to Bible study. I need to take time to spend more time with God. I need to be praying more. I think around that time, I think the most Bible I would do is I would try to do it every day, but then I would kind of like read the Bible verse of the day on the Bible app and kind of that'll be it. And I'm like, man, you need to do better with that. So
Amen.
what I decided to do around that time, and this is way before this, right? Like I said, it was last year. So what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? Okay, these are all things I've been wanting to change. I want to Bible study more. I want to work out. I want to pray more. Uh, I want to do these things. So if I'm going to have this podcast, right, and I'm going to try to do it every day, then why don't I do like, okay, maybe Bible study or something like that. And so what I'm going to do is I wanted to be in the morning time or whatever, and so people can get up and they'll be able to like have some inspiration in the morning when they get up. So I'm like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get up at 4, so I can have something by 6. So I'm gonna get up at 4. I'm going to do all those things that I said I want to do. I'm going to work out a little bit, pray, I'm going to, study the Bible, and then hopefully by then I'll have something to say at 6, And I was like,
Mm.
maybe I'll do this. How long am I going to do this? Am I going to do it for a week, a month, maybe till COVID ends? I don't know. So I started, right? April 1st,
Mm.
2020. I started with the juice. And the funny thing is, the first episode, I woke up earlier that morning, earlier than 4, and I thought about and kind of went from there. But now I don't even think about toxic no more. I just kind of I get up, I do my call it the whole working out, praying, and all that stuff. And by the time I finish doing that, whatever got it's like things come to my mind, like a rant, like whatever the random word, whatever the random something that'll come into my mind. I'll start looking that up. If whatever I find resonates, go with that. And it's crazy. I want to say even over the past couple of days, people have said that, like my mom in particular, she even told me today when I spoke to her, she's like, "You talked about something I was thinking about last night," and I just was like, "If God,
Wow.
there's no way." You know what I mean? There's no way. I know.
Wow.
So, so basically, when it comes to the journal, I'm kind of challenging everybody to do what I've done. I'm challenging everybody to make a be intentional about setting a time to study your Bible every day. This is a 30-day challenge. But what I'm hoping it does is inspire people to keep it going beyond the 30 days. I joke and say if you want to get another journal after 2, but I mean, but the funny thing is, like when another reason I created now I in the mornings because while I was doing this whole situation last year, I was writing on everything, cards, notebook paper, all kinds of little random. I would write my little notes or write down the Bible verses and stuff.
Mm.
Um, on random things, and so I use this myself too. But but yeah, inside it's not like it's guided. The only guided aspect is just kind of sharing like some things that I use or some resources and stuff like that. But it's more so just it's encouraging you to listen to the voice of God for yourself. Because perhaps you want you to study something. And the thing that I find as I do this, because that's the crazy thing. At some point, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, am I really going to have something to talk about every day? Like, I feel daily inspiration, not really thinking about I was going to do this every day. And I mean, I do take a break on Sundays. I don't do it on Sundays, but still, that's still a lot of days, right? And
That's a lot of work. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, all right, am I really? I'm like, Lord, you really gonna have me have something to say every day? But that's the crazy thing. It's like no matter what the random thought that comes into my mind, there's been Bible. I just back it up or to study about
Mm.
those topics, and I'm just like, there's no excuse. No, I understand that sometimes people can be okay. For example, okay, if a topic comes to my mind and I look up a word, it might be some slang or something like that, and I'll look the slang up in the Bible. Obviously, it might not be there, right? um,
Right.
However, but as I start to, I call it going deeper. I end up like looking up the definition of slang, and then taking the words from that, and then every now and then I'll find Bible to go with whatever the definition means, more so than whatever slang word term or whatever. So it's like what I'm really finding is that no matter what your issue may be, or no matter what you may want to look up, I believe that there is some Bible in there to tackle all issues and any topics. Because that's what I'm finding. It's been over a year now that I've been doing this, and I'm talking about I mean, every day. um, and it'll be something random. Like I would say, what was the most random because sometimes whatever the topic is, I name the topic and I make that the name of the show for that day or the episode for that day. And so
Mm.
sometimes I'll come up with some random man. What was one? I can't remember. I'm trying to think like there's a funny one that I come up with. I don't know, but I've come up with so many over the over the years. But it'll be like the most random thing. Okay, what led to what I talked about? What was it today? Yeah, the one that my mom said. All I know is that while I was praying and meditating this morning, at some point my stomach just really started to feel
Mm-hmm.
real warm, and I just was like, it made the word womb, and I was like, okay. So I started looking up Bible about the womb again, not knowing that my mama had thought about anything about wombs and nothing like, you know what I mean,
Right.
and obviously there's plenty of Bibles about the womb is being
Mm-hmm.
created in the womb and everything like that, and so I'm just saying, give it a try for 30 days. Hopefully you go on beyond that, like like me. That's all that has
I'm
to
just impressed, not just the 30 days reading the Bible, but you getting up 4 o'clock in the morning
yeah. Quiet time
every
in the house.
morning.
Yeah, I have a
Huh?
2-year old. Everybody sleeps, so it's time for it's just quiet. I come in here.
Okay, that makes even more sense because that yeah, because yeah, you when you got a 2-year old, you do
Mm-hmm.
anything and everything to find time just for you. So yeah.
Yep, so my alarm goes off in the morning, and I don't even really think about it. Like, okay, every now and then I might get that feeling of, oh, I don't feel like it. But the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is, lately, at least over the past few months or whatever the case is, there's people that like tune in live now. Sometimes, there's a guy that watches in Australia and he'll comment every now and then, just
Wow.
encouraging things. It was like, I was inspired today, and he'll be saying little stuff. And I want to say there was one morning recently that I kind of woke up when I heard my alarm. And it was one of those I'm not feeling it morning, and I just happened to look, and I want to say maybe a couple of minutes before I woke up, he had commented, and that was that thing
Wow.
that gave me that go ahead and get on up. And I had to give him a shout out that day because I was like,
Wait
it
a
was
minute.
because
Are these the posts with you in the bathrobe?
yes, yes. So I
Girl,
don't do
stop.
nothing. Don't get fancy. I just wait.
I
Whatever
saw
kind of
those, but
onesie.
I was like, okay, she's just doing a thing. You for real up by crack in the morning. Okay.
I would look because that was the crazy thing. So at first I was only recording the audio, right? And so if I'm in my
Right.
robe, nobody don't see me. Ain't no big deal. But then
Mm,
eventually it kind of got the word kind of got out that like, oh, we want to see you live, and I'm like, really? It's in the morning time. Like, y'all want to see me? And I just was like, fine. I'll start going live. And I started going, I was like, as long as y'all understand that I'm not going to do no makeup, I'm not going to do none of that. I'm just going to probably have a onesie on. If y'all understand that, then cool.
stop it.
So, yeah.
That's funny. I saw it. I was like, oh, I was like, that's just it's just a thing. You know how some people just have like a thing, or I, girl, shut up. That is funny.
The truth. That's the truth. Yeah.
Okay, I love
A little
it.
something extra for the show. Now, on the talk show, I try to do, I try to dress nice and have a little makeup on,
Right.
like that, but not for that morning juice. Y'all get loose.
The morning juice you getting for real deal. This is it. Morning breath and all.
All right, y'all talking about y'all want to see me live. But yeah, I had 4 this morning live.
Mm,
I'm like, goodness, great. I was, and it's crazy because I want to say over the past few days, nobody was tuning in, and I really wasn't expecting anybody to tune in. I go live and say I know somebody, you how you see somebody, you'll see like one person, two person,
yeah.
you'll see the number, and so I'm like, shout out to the person watching me live. Next thing I know, I look up again, I'm seeing 3, 4. I'm like, okay.
Now is the live just on on YouTube or is it on Facebook too?
So yeah, it'll be on Facebook, YouTube.
Okay.
Let me see, on 2 of my YouTube. So I have the Actress Miracle Sims YouTube and also the Gossip and Love YouTube. So it'll be on those two, and then also
Mm,
on the GSL Facebook page. So
okay.
yeah.
Girl, that's hilarious. I just knew that was just like like so the one lady used to wear a bonnet when she did her little thing or whatever. Girl, that's
Um,
hilarious.
no, I was like, man, I'm
That's
gonna invest in some more robes and some more onesies because I'm like, they probably
that's
tired of
cute.
seeing me rotate between the three.
That makes it even more better. That makes it more better.
Like y'all understand it's about 5, 6 in the morning, or and that's the
Okay.
thing too. I try to have the podcast out by 6. That's my only thing. So I could go live at 5:45. I could go live at 5, whatever I get done, taking a note and
Mm-hmm.
write down about the verses that I find and things. I'll just go live at any time. So they people don't know like what. It's not like I go live exactly at a time. So
Okay. It's just a
that's how
pop up.
when people catch me because I'm like, it's
They
early.
waiting. They sitting there at home waiting. She gonna go live any minute now. I get to see her in her onesie.
I guess so. I'm surprised, but hey, if it resonates, if people are getting something, they enjoy the juice, then I guess God believe He's glorious.
Hey, they need their juice. They need it. They need their little vitamin C juice.
It's great.
Now,
Yeah.
on top of everything else, you got a clothing line too.
What do you mean the merch?
Yeah, the merch. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we do have some merch. I mean, if you guys want a big old guy sex and love on your shirt, you know what I'm saying? We got
Hey,
we got
somebody might want it. But you
I got
got. I mean, but you got that, and then there's
oh you
the
meant
housing merchandise too, because you have like the bedding and all that too. I saw on there.
oh yeah. So there were some designs. I got some designs created for for that and I was like, oh let me put it on the bed thing and that makes a nice one. Um
Mm.
I thought you was about to start talking about the wine and nail polish and stuff like that because yeah, I got
Oh,
those.
I did see that too. I was gonna get there.
Oh, okay. Because I was confused. I'm like, what you talking about? Yeah, we do have some on the merch pages.
Hmm.
And yeah, you'll see shirts and things like that. You'll see some bedding things, shower curtains. Just they got like different types of prints and stuff. So the Afrocentric looking print, I call it miracle. I like the Afrocentric thing. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's kind of got some little merch out there. Just in case you want it. In case you want it. I
Just in
got
case.
because the men that go is a little feminine. So I'm like, apparently more men are listening to me than anything. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised, but so I'm like, I'll make something with the G maybe with them in black or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm. Well, they probably listening so they can use the advice, so they can,
Maybe,
catch them a church girl somewhere.
maybe so. I hope so. I mean, well, because there's a lot to be taught,
Hmm.
men folks. So I mean, they waiting on
Right.
you. They waiting on y'all.
Okay. Okay. The church is full of single ladies. Unfortunately, about
But
about
don't
about
say,
80% women and 20% men.
I don't say, Lord, I thank you for these days. We're here. So there's no one's
I,
perfect. I'm not perfect neither, but
yeah.
love my husband. He's
That's,
perfect for me.
okay. I thank the Lord for sending me mine. Won't he do it?
It's real, y'all. So where y'all think all this inspiration came from?
Huh?
All this inspiration for God's sex and love came from? Like, Lord, where is
Well,
he, Lord? Where is
okay. Where
I
him
was
where him at?
sad. That was making me sad. Lord.
Oh my god. So
I got a
what
heart for
advice
single
would
people, though.
huh?
I said I have a heart for single people, though. I feel them. I understand the struggle. And so I hope that listening to my testimony encourages and inspires them because, you know, yeah, that was me not long ago, y'all. But y'all see, I'm on the other side now. Again, I
That was,
can't, say anything. Everything's perfect and everything like that because there's never going to be a perfect thing. But
there's no
again,
such thing.
yeah,
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as being a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as being the perfect single person.
right,
So there's no such thing as a perfect life.
right.
But you can have joy in either situation because that's something no man can take away from you.
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
So, or woman, depending on how you want to look at it. Some of y'all want to be extra.
Right. But yeah, I agree. I agree, and that's. I hope people took that in because that's knowledge. It's wisdom right there.
So, what advice would you give someone who wants to step outside the box like you did
Hmm.
to glorify God's kingdom?
Yeah, I would say do it. I would say do it. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, I feel like this is me making observations, but I definitely feel like there is definitely room for all of us to be out here doing our part to share the gospel. So I know that my way may be a little bit, maybe some might consider it to be out of the box, or maybe because it's just in your face that hey, God, sex, and love.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, again, like there's people that you all can reach, and that maybe I can reach, or that even you, Miss Lillian, can reach, and that we're reaching different people, and maybe we're that only access to some of those people. Maybe that person only clicked on my thing because it said God's just love, and now they're getting the gospel, and now they're getting, somebody that maybe they can relate to or something like that. And so if God puts something on your heart and mind to do, I say, even if you can't do exactly what it is, start working towards it. Because at the end of the day, like I was telling you guys earlier, I was doing little things here and there. So by the time 2020 hit, it wasn't nothing to just go ahead and just start. Because I had already had the Facebook page made. I just didn't have it live for everybody to see. And so when I started, I just was like, boom, click. And it was already started. And I already had my logo. I already had all these things where it was like, God, you set it up. You set everything up. So when I found the app that I'm using for the podcast, I was like, there's no excuse. I should just do this thing because it's right
Right.
in the app. I can do this right here at the house, and get it done. And so, what's the excuse now? You know, and so that's what kind of one of the things that kind of I guess set a fire under me last year. But yeah, I believe that he put something on our heart to do. I believe that we all have gifts. It may not be my way. Maybe you're a blogger. Maybe you're the person that can stand on the street corner and and during that way. But I do believe that we're all supposed to be out here sharing the gospel, making disciples, doing what the Bible said to do. Um, and there's room for all of us to do that. We all have our gifts, and so I would say take the first step. And I think sometimes the first step is making a choice.
Amen. So, what's next for you?
Oh, I wanted you guys to see I have a lot of ideas. I'm one of those people. Actually, just today, I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to get a thing to hopefully not, but my wine journal just went live on Amazon
All
today.
right. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's yes, a wine tasting journal because I do have a wine business and everything like that. It is called
Mm-hmm.
Miracle of Wine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Look at you. I like. All right. I like the name.
It's a double name because I'm miracle, but also what was the first miracle?
Jesus created wine out of water.
Hey, miraclewine.com, y'all. So, but yeah, I'm a wine amateur, and so I made a journal called Wine Amateur for other people like me because I had to go through a process of like, I guess maybe you could call it training my palate to like different types of wine and not just be like, oh, I'm gonna just have sweet or that type of thing. So that's what the
Mm-hmm.
journal is about. And so I have some other publications in the works soon too. So
Okay.
hopefully real soon, you guys will see more things from me. One of the big goals, so I don't know if anybody, I don't know, I'm just gonna put it out there, but one of the big goals is to start to create my own movies and stuff at this point. I've done my own like theater shows and dinner theater and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tackle this film aspect because I same concept in regards to tackling real subject matter, uh, you know, faith based, faith based for real. You know what I mean? And not to say that the things that are out are, but I feel like maybe perhaps I have a perspective that, we've heard and things like that. And so I would love to create,
Right.
film based content that, hopefully that people can relate to and that, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much God takes a little to go see in it, or at least the sex part. But at least I'm not going to be shy about the conversation of it in these movies,
Right. Right.
even if I'm not showing a whole lot of it or whatever case is. Because I mean, there's a lot of issues around that, especially in marriage and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do something like that soon. Trying to save some money, how that go. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are things that I'm hoping to do. But in the process, I'm trying to just like I say, get more publications out, get more these ideas out, and preferably like I said, keep on doing the juice every day through Friday. I mean, excuse me, Monday through Saturday, and keep doing
Whoop.
weekly talk show. Like I'll just keep it going. It's so funny. I said it on the podcast the other day. I was like, "Am I gonna be an old lady doing the juice?" Like, I'm scared. Show the juice for the day.
Girl, we only as old as we say we old, so whatever.
Look, I
I'll
said,
be I'll be 142 before I start talking about I'm old.
I think that. But there you go. I mean, but still, it's like, are we gonna be those? It's like, okay, and this is the juice for the day and the daily inspiration. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be me. But
Hey,
I said, well,
even if you're talking about prune juice, it's still juice.
right. Your daily motivation, the
Get your juice, baby.
juice of the day. So glad I'm like, they're so fun. I
Oh my
play,
god.
y'all can see
Now,
that. I play the old
okay.
school. Every now and then I play that character, or that type of character, and they're always fun. You can say whatever you want to say.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's something else. But
You good.
people
Now, now, how can people find you?
can find me. Have so many pages. However, Actress
Mm-hmm.
Miracle Sims on multiple platforms:
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find Actress Miracle Sims. You can also find God, Sex, and Love on all those places as well. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are my places to find me. And GodSexandLove.com, y'all. God, Sex, and Love, everything should be on there, from the merch to the journal. There should be a link to the journal on there. You guys can see some of the panel people that have, they come and have conversations frequently. We need to get another good panel discussion up soon. I'm sorry, panel people. I know. But yeah, you can see the panel people. Yeah, and there's some episodes up there as well of talk show and everything like that. Yep, let's see you can find me, y'all.
All right. Now I got two more questions. You ready? All right. Now, if you could have any actress portray you in your life story, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Now,
I already know who. I have one in mind, but I'm gonna wait and see what you say.
really,
Mm-hmm.
girl, why was I about to say myself? Cause
You gonna say who?
I was gonna say me. Nah,
You know, not you.
somebody else. Okay, gotta be somebody else. Uh, who just comes to my mind? She's probably not somebody that I don't know if this is who you had on your mind, but I'm about to say like Erica Alexander. Even though I know she's older than me though. She
Who?
got to be somebody younger than her.
Alex
Uh,
Alexander.
You remember she's the one that was in Living Single.
Oh, oh, okay.
Um,
Liked her. I remember her. Okay, but
yeah,
that wasn't who I had in mind, though.
who you had in mind?
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, you know what? That crossed my mind slightly because I was like, what was she?
Well,
What?
okay, but there's different stages in your life. But she just popped in my head, Angela Bassett.
Got you. Oh, well, I mean, I guess that's something. Thank you. The funny thing, so here's the other thing though, y'all. I'm rather small, so the only person that I know off the top of my head is probably around my height would be Jada Pinkett. Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so she's the only one representing for the black women right now. But not really. There's some other girls. I want to say they're coming up. There's this girl that's
That's a lot. It's quite a few.
Bobby, and I mean, well, maybe, yeah. I guess, yeah, maybe there are a few that are petite as well. You just never know, right? Because the way she's
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
um,
just can't. I'm terrible when it comes to names. I'm more of a I know what movie they played in and what actress, what who they played in that movie.
mhm.
But yeah, but as far as I don't know, just Angela Bassett just hit me when it came to playing you.
Oh man,
So
that would be something. That would be something.
okay, last question. Here we go.
Okay.
Now, if you could have any song be your theme song when you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
Oh, well, the one that's on my mind right now, even though I've been everybody that listens to my podcast, they know I've been jamming to like Montel Fish lately, so I've been loving all his songs lately. But one a song that I guess I really really like is it's called "You Will Know." It was in that song "Boys in the Hood." And
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I really like that song.
Men of Standards.
Yeah, it was like all the men would sing the song.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
I
weird.
love that song.
It does really turn from boys to men, blah 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 blah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's the part about the dreams and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stick by your plan, and that whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. I think it kind of
It's got a good choir vibe to it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
That is a good song.
yeah.
Yeah. And see now that song's gonna be stuck in my head.
Do-do.
Cause like it's like every other year I'll see that song and I'll post it on Facebook and everybody like, oh, I forgot about that song.
I like that song. I mean, I get that it's a man's empowerment song, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good song, period.
Song.
Per It's a good song. Okay. So that's why, because it's a good empowerment song for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, I cannot thank you enough. I enjoyed you.
I enjoyed it too. We gotta go. Oh
I know. It's
no, man, it went that quick.
I know. Because it was a good time.
Yeah, I'm time flies. We have fun.
I know. But here's the good thing. I'll see you again Friday.
Yes, yes. You guys can tune in. Might as well tell you now. Yes, come on Friday. The Guys Section of Love. We're gonna be live with Miss Lillian.
Yay! I'll be in the hot seat. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Oh, my God. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And like I said, I enjoyed you. I absolutely enjoyed you. And you keep doing what you're doing, lady. Don't let nothing stop you, and keep pushing and going to higher heights. And yeah, sky's the limit, girl. You're doing it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I truly
Mm.
enjoyed it too. And all her listeners and everybody, love this lady. Looking forward to talking to her again on Friday.
And I want to thank all of you for joining me today. And like I said, I will not be quote unquote here Friday, but I will be on her show next Friday. But I will share it so everybody can see it. So, in theory, I will not be on Friday, but I will see you Friday. So, as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.